Yours.
Thank you everyone for being here. Here's a moment. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And this is the menu for what is in the bags.
Perfect. Thank you.
Hello everyone. I am Quincy Alderando, and my senior capstone project is Cookies for the Homeless. I am Quincy Alderando. I have been going here at AAEC for 4 years. I love it here. I also got accepted to the Culinary Institute of America, and I will be going this fall. I'm very excited. My senior project was about raising money for St. Mary's by making cookies for all of you here. Why did I choose baking or this project in specific? I love baking. I've been loving baking. When I would bake for my coworkers, they would always rant and rave about how great my cookies were and that I should start my own bakery. So I knew I had the skills and the love to be able to do this. Someone who inspired me was Andrew Torzi. Last year he was a senior here, and his senior project was a Mario Kart tournament. I got to participate in that, and I even got to watch his presentation. And during that presentation, I got to sit there and think, what should I do? What can I do for my senior project that will help the people most? And I thought of St. Mary's and me making cookies. I chose St. Mary's because they're the biggest food distributors for the needy here in Maricopa County. They feed thousands of people every day, and they're the best at what they do in my opinion. So I knew the money and what I was doing would be going to a good cause. And I wanted to help here in Arizona and Maricopa County in general. I've been driving. Most of us in this room have been driving or just are around, and you see the homeless people standing out there needing money and needing help. And I wanted to help those people most needy. My first plan was to partner up with student government, who I thought ran Mustang Market and sell cookies through Mustang Market every single day. Unfortunately, I didn't know, but FFA actually runs Mustang Market. So that was one of the many problems with this first plan. First, because I would be partnering with student government, they would be wanting me to do bake sales. And when I met with Meyer in September, every week basically, there was gonna be a bake sale. And so I knew it was a very saturated market. I knew that I wouldn't thrive in, and so I pivoted. I didn't want to do a bake sale. I wanted as much as autonomy as I wanted. So that limitation by student government and my want to be able to push myself to raise as much as money as I could, that I knew I could in the amount of time I had, I pivoted. My final plan was to go straight to St. Mary's, get a fundraising site for them, and do commissions, do everything myself. Advertise, bake, and put myself out there to friends and family. That's what I did. How I did it, first I reached out to St. Mary's. I went in person, showed them my proposal, they loved it, and in a few days they emailed me, and I was able to set up a fundraiser site on their website and be able to collect funds through there. Very easy, and it made it so easy to not have to deal with all the money, and I just funneled everything to them. When orders came in, I'd bake them. Thankfully, my family is a house of cooks and bakers, so we had a lot of ingredients already at home. If I didn't have the ingredients already, my family funded it and helped me gather the materials that I needed for a specific cookie if I didn't have the materials. I did a lot of advertising. I emailed basically all the staff here at AAEC, asked them if I could come in during their class time. I even brought cookies like these to them, to the students, so they could actually see and taste that I had something real, something functional that they could then buy. I also emailed one at PVCC, and he also let me present in his class. I did a lot of communication. As I said, I emailed a lot of teachers, asking them for their time. I also communicated with my customers through email and text when they contacted me. my resources. This is all my resources, and these are all the cookies that I did make. So, butter, sugar, light brown sugar, vanilla extracts, egg flours, baking soda, baking powder, sea salt, chocolate chips, dark molasses, ground sugar, whole rolled oats, raisins, walnuts, cornstarch, white chocolate chip, macadamia nuts, bittersweet chocolate, cocoa powder, instant coffee, cooking spray, peanut butter, dark chocolate, Millennium marshmallows, water, cream of tartar, vegetable oil, strawberries, and lemon juice. And here's some more. Marshmallows, Hershey's milk chocolate bar, graham cracker, semi-sweet chocolate chips, lemon zest, milk, blueberries, coarse sugars, confectioner's sugar, heavy cream. Confectioner's sugar is powdered sugar for anyone who doesn't know. Measure for measure flour, almond powder, machino, cherries, almond flour, old-fashioned rolled oats, sweetened shredded coconut, pecans, milk chocolate chips. And then I used bowls, spatulas, oven mitts, stand mixer, measuring cups, cookie scoop, cookie sheets, chocolate melter, fork, microwave, pots, apron, Ziploc bags, and my hands. My goal for this project was $100 to $700 in about the 7 or 8 months that I had. I achieved $234 in the end. So I met with St. Mary's around late August, so about the 29th, and then on the 2nd, they emailed me and got back to me and let me make the website. On the 8th of September, I met with Meyer for my first proposal, and he approved it. On September 30th, Cleo donated $20, and so that was the start. And then on the 20th, again, Cleo donated $30, and on the 21st and 22nd, my mom donated for her two church friends, Jan and Tony, both $20. And on the 21st of October, I met with Meyer for my second meeting, and everything was going smoothly. On November 9th, Donna donated $24, and I achieved my $100 goal and a little more. On the 13th and 14th, on the 13th of January, Yoni donated $20, and on the 14th, Diana donated $10. On February 3rd, I met with Meyer for my final time, and he said everything was going really good, and we were just wrapping stuff up. On the 4th, Rain donated $20. On the 17th of February, Yoni again donated $10, and on March 13th, Roski donated $50, and that got me to $234. Some challenges during this project was getting customers or getting recurring customers in general because of how much stuff happens throughout the year with SATs, with college classes. It's hard sometimes to get people's attention. And I was lucky enough to have like Yoni and Cleo who were reoccurring customers and bought from me more than once. With keeping people's interest, I did bring them cookies, but I could only do so much to pique their interest in what I was doing, so I only had to hope that people actually like this, and I was very lucky that people did find interest and did buy from me. I also had a little fear of emailing all the new teachers. In the 4 years I've been here at AAEC, there has been a lot of staff changes, unfortunately, and a lot of the teachers I didn't know, never had classes with, and didn't have rapport with, so it was very daunting to go out and be like, hey, person I've never met, can I come into your classroom and take your time? And with the time management, I had my job and this and school, so it was a lot of being able to manage when I could make cookies and how much time I just had in a day. I also had a lot of problems with where I wanted to advertise. I wanted to advertise at my work. Unfortunately, they weren't willing to do that for me. I wanted to also advertise at my church. I dropped the ball on that and didn't follow through in that aspect, but I did at least advertise here when I could. I did make a few mistakes in this project where during my first order it was really big and I never even started doing something like this, so I didn't know how to execute it properly, and so there was a few hiccups where I had to get the cookies in on like 2 separate days. And also sometimes I would make the cookies the night before, stick them in the fridge, and absentmindedly forget it, come to school and go, oh no, I don't have it. Thankfully, my customers were always very understanding, and I was able to get the cookies to them in a timely manner either day of or the next day. My reflection is I've gained a lot of confidence in this project. It showed me that I can do a lot more than I thought I could, and I've gained a lot of confidence in being able to talk professionally to not just my teachers, but my coworkers, but my friends, and I'm gonna put those skills into my personal and professional life going forward. I overcame a lot of fear of judgment from others. I am very anxious sometimes when it comes to people judging me, and seeing that people were really receptive to who I was and my ideas really showed me that I am more capable than I thought. I went through a lot of stuff throughout the school year, especially through October. It was really hard in my personal life, and so this project just helped me push through that and encouraged me to keep moving forward even through the hard times, because I was like, at least I have this, I'm accomplished and I'm doing something here. I really developed my love and craft for baking and for cooking in general. It helped me see more aspects of how to run a business and how to interact with others in the culinary world. I also take great pride in this. I don't think a lot of people who are going to go to the Culinary Institute of America can say they raised $234 for their community and gain the same skills that I have doing this. Some advice for the younger classmen here. Take this seriously. This is your grad requirement. It's either you make it or you break it. So you have to take this seriously. You have to have a plan and hopefully stick to it. If stuff happens, and you need to keep moving forward, because if you give up one road bump in the way, you're gonna have nothing to show and you might not make it. So take it seriously, start early also, because if you don't get anything done first semester, you barely have 2-3 months to actually do something second semester, because by March, you should be done and you should have something to show for your work. And document everything. Document it right when it happens. Take pictures, time yourself, do everything right then, so down the road, like me, you don't have to go back and go, oh, where's this? Oh, where's that? How much time did I spend on this? Document everything right then. Personally, I say work by yourself. I had a lot of fun working by myself in this project. I wouldn't do it with anyone else personally if I had to do this project or wanted to do this project again, because I feel like I would be managing a team more than actually growing my skills and communication skills in this project. So unless you are great friends and are good at not procrastinating and actually getting your stuff done, you should either work with someone you don't know or work by yourself. Some stuff I learned to be professional, to my teachers, to my higher-ups, to my boss, to just my peers in general, where I'm able to step back and go, hey, what's a better way I can word this so I don't sound too casual and they actually respect me. I've learned a lot of my flaws with my time management and my forgetfulness, that I need to work on those things, and I need to either get up early in the morning, get more sleep, set more alarms, just be more on top of myself when it comes to things in the morning or when it comes to management like this project. I also learned how to do large orders. In the culinary world, you're probably going to do a lot of repetitive stuff, big orders, catering, and even at my job, I do a lot of big orders and mass also learned how to manage myself, because I basically ran my own business during this project. I had to advertise myself. I made my own presentation to advertise. I had to make my own product. I had to do everything myself and get it transported and delivered to everyone who ordered. So it really showed me how someone starting out does it. And it really gave me some sympathy and empathy for my managers or people starting a small business, because I see how hard it is now. I want to give special thanks to St. Mary's. If it wasn't for them, I don't know what I would do. I love them so much. They're great. I also want to thank Mr. Meyer for encouraging me and always telling me that I've been doing really good and that he's really impressed with how much I've been raising. I also want to thank Ms. McKiernan. I did a lot of math here, and she's the best math teacher that I've had throughout the school year, so she really helped me in my math skills. I want to also thank all AAEC teachers and staff because they were a big help in letting me advertise and just making the school what it is. I also want to thank Annabelle Ames. She's the one who took all the nice horse pictures you see here. That was her senior project. She's going to present today also, so she did a really good job. I also want to thank my family, my mom. If it wasn't for them, I wouldn't have the materials necessary to do this project as well as I did. I also want to thank Cleonia, Diana Fernandez, Yoni Weiss, Ray Miller, Rosie Kwan. They all donated and made this project what it is. If it wasn't for all you, then I would have $0. And I want to thank Chef Brian for being a big inspiration. To me, he is the coolest guy ever, and he is great at what he does, and I want to be great like him. That is all. Thank you so much for being here.
Excellent. Quincy, congratulations on a incredibly executed capstone and a job well done. Thank you for your reflections as well. I definitely have a few questions for you. I'm sure the rest of your panel members do as well. Do you guys want to start? Or?
I can start, yeah.
Okay, go for it.
All right, so when it came to management, because I know we chatted about this a little bit, where you would get the donation and they would text you their order or whatever, and then you would have to execute it. Can you tell us a little bit more about that process? Because you said there were some times when you were like, oh shoot, this is really big, I'm gonna have to split it into 2 days versus the 1 day. Can you just tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, with Cleo, she had a bunch of different ones. She wanted a butter and blueberry and strawberry and chocolate chip and a bunch of different ones, and so I wasn't used to. I should have cut it in half instead of doing a full batch. So I was doing full batches instead of half batches, and so I ran out of time during my first day when I was baking, so I had to do it the second day. I also sometimes I'd get the text late and I'd be at work being okay, how much time do I have after work to actually get this done, and calculate and be okay, yes, I have enough time, no, I don't, and tell them, oh, I can get it to you by Thursday or Friday, so stuff like that.
Okay.
Just a quick follow-up with that, just kind of on the same lines. What was your record-keeping strategies that kept track of the resources that you were using and that you needed to purchase in order to keep your costs low and your profit margin higher?
My family funded it, so I didn't really keep track of that, unfortunately. But I already had flour, sugar, eggs, butter, baking soda, baking powder, sea salt, the chocolate chips. So the only things I really bought were like the strawberries or blueberries or some of the unconventional products that I had.
Did you use any inventory spreadsheet or documentation that kept track of the resources that were being used in order to fulfill the orders?
No, unfortunately not. I dropped the ball on that.
Well, because there wasn't anything used, do you feel like that would have been more beneficial to your record keeping process if you were able to use something like that? And what might you incorporate later in your culinary experience when you're having to keep track of inventory resources?
Yeah, and it probably would have helped me. I mostly used all like if I had to like actually record keep, I would have just used the recipes that I did use because they have, all like how many cups. So I could have written that down, but I didn't, unfortunately. But yeah, I think if I did do that, that would definitely help me because when I even see this at my work, that they have to order and keep track of how much stuff they have. And I even do that also at my work where I have to be like, okay, how many cookie boxes do I need to make? How many are there? How many cookies do I need to pull out? So if I did do that, and I probably will be doing that in the future, would have definitely helped me, yes.
Because I'm also aware of what you used to do with Sprouts, or you still work.
I still work with them.
Very. So you still work with Sprouts, and you do a resource inventory when it comes to your work in the bakery at Sprouts. Is there experiences from that you would like to take into your own experiences when it comes to culinary inventory resource management?
Yeah, I think definitely with how stuff is organized, I'll definitely take that because we have it organized in like a certain way where tortillas are with the tortillas and the breads are with the breads and the certain doughs are with the certain doughs. So definitely how they organize and keep stuff together, I will be taking that with me just to make sure, the lettuce isn't with the meat or, vice versa, where if I'm looking for a certain vegetable, then I can find that certain vegetable very fast. And that's how it is at home also, where we have the flour in a certain container and we have bins for our cream of tartar and our other extravagant kind of baking stuff. And I have my own little basket in a shelf where I have vanilla extract, salt, baking powder, baking soda, and some other things there. So yeah, definitely keeping stuff together that goes together is a big thing that I do, even in my day-to-day life.
Excellent. Thank you so much.
So I know you're going to culinary school. Do you have ideas for what your plan is after?
I want to be a personal chef. Chef Brian is a personal chef, and he's managed a lot of restaurants, and a lot of the time it hasn't gone very well, so I don't plan on doing any restaurant type of stuff, but I do plan on going to like resorts, doing stuff like that, and eventually getting to the point where I can be a personal chef and cook for billionaires, because that's what he does.
So I think your project is very worthy. You're contributing to our community. Homeless is a very tough thing that we all have to deal with here. When you talked about emailing the teachers and stuff, for some reason, admin, or at least Liesl and myself did not get those emails.
Mm-hmm.
And we are all about helping you guys out and getting the word out and maybe spreading the word to other places. I'm sure it was just an oversight that we weren't included in that. We heard about it through other people, but we didn't know about it. And advertising, we probably could have done a job with you to help you advertise here at school. And so I think that's something, next time make sure that you broaden who you keep in contact or help you, because we would have been more than happy to help you.
I was mostly under the impression because I was doing this all by myself and I wasn't actually partnered with anyone at the school, that I was unable to like actually put myself like posters or even write on the board and advertise myself because I wasn't like partnered with the school.
It was under my advisement to try to keep it as small as possible.
Yeah.
Do you know how much we like cookies?
This is
And I
fun.
can't believe that you left us out.
So I will note that, and I think it's a great advice, Miss Jean. But I will note that was,
We have connections.
yeah, that was definitely
Thank you.
that was definitely something that I think Quincy was under my advisement, just to focus on strictly teachers and word of mouth with student to student. But I think it's very good advice for sure.
We will discuss this later.
I will be, I'll be punished later for that. Quincy, a lot of this, as you are kind of mentioning, you were managing this capstone, managing this resource without a partner behind you in the project itself, but there is still an attribute that comes to you having to work with the various community members around you, which does kind of involve teamwork. It's strong in those communication skills, but just because they're not members of your team doesn't mean there isn't teamwork skills being displayed. So my question for you, was there any teamwork strategies or teamwork skills that you were able to practice and utilize throughout this project that came to working with other people?
I definitely, communication was a big one, where I do go into St. Mary's for my volunteer hours, so I kind of already had like a rapport with them, and so being kind of like on their team, already volunteering, and then kind of teaming up with them in that aspect of raising money for them and being able to communicate and go there like every other weekend and be like, hey, I've raised this much money and I've raised this much money, was definitely, I think, a team building skill. Also keeping in contact with people and building that rapport with the new teachers. When I came in, Agili was really impressed with my presentation, and he was very happy to like let me present and was like, you guys should definitely like donate. And so I think being able to like put myself out there and kind of build more rapport with those people, I think is definitely a team building skill, because when it comes to working with anyone, you gotta be nice to them at least a little bit, so they like you and respect you in some type of aspect to tolerate you. Because in my professional opinion, if you aren't tolerated, if you aren't liked, people majority of the time will have a harder time working with you, tolerating you. Even if they have to, they're going to do the bare minimum for you, and they won't go above and beyond. And so I wanted to be able to go to those teachers and have them rant and rave about me and go above and beyond. Many of the teachers was like, oh, I have their email, I have the presentation, so if any of the students wanted, even after I was gone, to like scan it or get in contact with me, the teachers would put them in contact with me. So I think that's a big kind of team building with that rapport and that likability.
Absolutely, thank you.
I have known you for the last 4 years, and I have seen a really a huge growth in you. And from when you first started to now, you're a lot more outspoken, and you have your information, and I think you've learned a lot in these last 4 years. My question is, what got you started with the baking? What was, or how old were you when you started thinking this was what you wanted to do?
Probably like started like end of middle school, so like right when I got into high school, I was like really into baking. We did like a Brazil trip, right? Or like Mexico. No, we went on a cruise, and we went to Mexico, and there was like a cooking thing, and so I picked that, and I got to do some cooking there in Mexico. That was really fun. And so in the beginning of high school, I knew I wanted to be a chef, and I knew I wanted to do like culinary stuff. As a kid, I wanted to be like an actor, or like my mom, and do real estate, or be a programmer like my dad. And so I think when I got into baking, it was kind of my mom, where like we make cakes every year for Christmas. So I started making those cakes for Christmas, and then I made her anniversary cake for her 20th anniversary also with her. And so I think it kind of spiraled from there, from the Christmas to baking with my mom, and I love food also. So, and because of my ADHD, I have a hard time putting myself to do things. So when I have a physical kind of representation of my efforts in front of me, I feel a lot more accomplished than having to write something and really not seeing it. I can actually see my cookies. I can actually taste and feel and smell my cookies and say, oh yes, this is good. I can't do that with a lot of other things in my life.
And then when you started this project and you wanted to do this for the homeless, what made you decide that's where you wanted to put your focus on?
Like I said, during Andrew's presentation, I was like he's like, oh, think of it early and blah blah blah, and sitting there being like, oh, this is gonna be me next year. I need to start early because I know myself. I am very much a procrastinator in a lot of things. Meyer can attest to this with a lot of my missing assignments. So I am very much a procrastinator, and so I knew this was very, very important and that I needed to do something good. And I was sitting there, I'm like, what can I do? I like baking. I could make cookies, because cookies, a lot of people like cookies. They're easily packageable. They stay good for a while, unlike cupcakes where they're mushy and then they have frosting and they can get messy. And so cookies were my first go-to, where it's easy to package, people like them, and I think it's easily marketable too also. So I was like, cookies, perfect. Who can I partner up with? Maybe I want to do Stugo to help, here at school, because I love school so much. I love AAEC. And then I can also help St. Mary's, because during that time I was, again, going to St. Mary's very frequently. And every time you go, they even started having a video where they talk about, this is how many people we help, this is what we do, this is what you guys are going to do. And so it's constantly drilled in my head. We feed thousands of people every day in Maricopa County. We're the biggest one. And so I'm like, these people know what they're doing and they're good at it. And so I was able to be like, okay, I know these people are good. I have an idea for cookies. I'm good at baking. Combine those all, and I got my project.
Gotcha.
That's great.
Thank you. Okay. I think I might have one more question for you, Quincy. We are looking at this growth, and I definitely want to emphasize what Miss Jean is saying, is that we've seen a lot of growth in you. We have this project of yours that is focusing on trying to make that rapport and that connection with the community. And actually, I'm going to turn this into two questions, I'm sorry. But my first question to this is, I was trying to get you more involved with the community. It was one of our original talks, is how to leave the school grounds and really kind of try to push out into the outside community. You did a little bit over at PVCC, and then you were thinking about your church atmosphere as well, but you mentioned in your project that kind of fell through. Why did you not follow through with kind of reaching out to your church community and working with that? Was that just a time management? Was that just running out of time, or different connections falling through?
No, I had enough time. I've had a tumultuous relationship with the church. And so I tried sitting there and being there, because I knew that I would have to be there, I couldn't just skip out on church and then come late to an announcement. I had to be there so I would be able to talk to people beforehand and after or during. and it was really hard on myself to like sit there and like take that all in. Like I could not take that kind of emotionally, and so I was unable to like push through and actually get that done. If I was just a little bit stronger, I feel I could have, because I know a lot of my church members do very much enjoy me. Like my mom, she thankfully she goes to Bible church Bible study every Thursday, and so I go and pick her up after, and they'll have like lunch, and so I'll see a few of the church people there, and so they donated, so I knew like they liked me, but unfortunately because my relationship with church and with God, I just wasn't able to.
Completely understand, and thank you for your reflection for that. My second to that is about your growth and your development through this. And so now you're dealing with a lot of your fellow colleagues and your fellow students that are around the same age as most of your audience that you were reaching out to. And so my question for you is kind of what was this strategy like for you? What was this experience like for you when you were kind of managing that line between professional and personal, and how did that kind of maturity, professional maturity, grow in that understanding of how you have to execute the difference between those two relationships?
I think I got a head start in when I used to be a karate instructor, so I had to teach kids from about kindergarten to middle school, and so then I was really personable with the kids, but I still like professional on that end. And I think the skills that I learned during those 2 years I was employed at karate as an instructor helped me like be professional. And so when I came in the classes, I usually talked to the teachers. I didn't really interact with the kids, but I tried to, when I did do my presentation, I tried to be like happily and bubbly and be like, I'm here, you see me, I got my bright hair, like I don't bite, and I see Cleo, she's right there, the blue hair, and she'll wave to me and I'll wave back, and like I'm just being like friendly and is kind of who I am. And so I think the aspect of just who I am and the skills I learned in karate helped me kind of bridge the gap between professionalism and being personable with the kids. And I think also bringing food, because Chef Brian, I talked to him like this Sunday, he has said food is emotional, and I think that's very true. Food is love, food is life. Everyone needs food, and having a nice sweet treat brings the best out in anyone. And so I think having the sweets and having my sweet personality combined really helped me in the end.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Anything further? Okay. Just kind of final statements from your panel here. I just want to say congratulations. You really have grown a lot, and I think you have so many amazing qualities and so many skills through the reflections. But throughout senior year, I've seen you really grow in that professionalism, but not losing your own personality, because you're right, that sweet personality that you say is so strong in you, and I think that's just something that take with you and learn how to navigate that with how that fits into the professional atmosphere, how you use that to your advantage in the professional atmosphere, but still being you and staying true to yourself. And I think you've been really doing a good job of how to navigate that this year, and especially through this capstone. And I'm very proud of your efforts and what you've been able to achieve here. So good job.
Thank you.
Anything further, panel?
Yeah, I would say job well done. I mean, a donation like over $200 is a really good donation, and I would say that you were persistent with it, because you didn't just come in like one time and then like be done. You were asking like, can I come in again? Can I come in again? And you were constantly talking to people about it stuff. So I think you did a very nice job, and I think your donation was probably very helpful to them.
I agree. I think you did a great project, and I think it's something you should be very proud of.
Congratulations, Quincy, and a job well done. The closing remarks and final statements are to you.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Cleo. Thank you, Brian. Thank you, Yanni. Thank you, everyone who is here today. Also, when I'm done, I do have these cookies for everyone if they'd like. This is cowboy cookies. They're old-fashioned rolled oats, the shredded coconut, pecans, and sweet chocolate chips, and then snickerdoodles, and then the white macadamia nuts. It's first come, first serve, so please be nice. Don't stampede me. But Thank you, everyone. This school year has been great, and I'm going to miss you guys immensely when I go to New York. Thank you.
Congratulations.